No, so I actually learned that from, like, I talked about my faith getting more serious
Yeah.
and, I was, like, looking at the sum total of my life and,
Mhm.
we had started our podcast and we were interviewing all these amazing people and I was just, like, taking in all this, wisdom and
Mhm.
knowledge and looking at, like, okay, what do I need to grow in? And I felt like I was, like, hitting it on all cylinders except my marriage. And I was like, man, I just still feel like there's just, like, so much we're not tapping into, like, we're
Mhm.
better, but we're not, like, thriving. So I signed up for a program called the Family Captain. It's a faith-based program for husbands to be better husbands. And that was one of the first things he taught us. His name's John Michael Clark, great guy. Like I knew these things right
Uh-huh.
from the military, but like I put everything in this like, oh, it's the Army silo, and I
Yeah.
applied none of that to the rest of my life. Right? It's
Right.
so silly, right? In hindsight, but he framed it as right. It's authority, responsibility, and compassion. And when you balance those three things like a three-legged stool or a tripod, that's what leadership really is, right?
Mhm.
And so authority is you're empowered to actually change outcomes. Responsibility is you own those outcomes. And then compassion is that your people, in this case, your family, you love them a lot and they actually know it, right? You show it
Mhm.
and they feel that love. And so if you're making all of your decisions as the leader of any organization with those three things in mind, you won't, if you take one of the legs out, you're going to stray one way or the other. You're either going to be the pushover nice guy who just gets blamed for everything and is the sacrificial lamb, or you become like the aggressive tyrant, and I definitely lean that way, the overbearing, intense tyrant. You need all three to kind of temper yourself, right? And so
Right.
every guy naturally has kind of a leaning and a gifting that they have, that they are just imprinted with. But understanding that at a high level, especially in the context of marriage, was a really like eye-opening moment for me to be like, oh, okay. So part of that means I need to stop blaming my wife for everything, right?
Yeah.
Just she is factually wrong on this, or it is her problem, but it's my family. So just like in
Mhm.
the military, where the company commander is responsible for everything his company does or fails to do, insert husband is responsible for everything his family does or fails to do. Oh, okay, I know what that feels like. I can start fixing that. So that was a huge like moment for me. That program again, tons of credit to them. That took me from being like just making it through to like actually becoming a very good husband. And the result of what I learned and was forced to confront through that program changed the way that we started interacting as husband and wife. And we've been like, it got tough for a while because we had to reconfront some things that we kind of just pushed some dirt over. And we needed to
Right.
actually fix it. But on the other side of that, man, like earlier I was talking about how good our marriage is now. I mean, I never could have imagined that we would have the intimacy we have, the fun that we have, the security that we feel together.
Mhm.
Like it is next level. There's no other relationship that can ever compare to this. And that came through a lot of this understanding. We're trained wrong as modern men on how to
Mhm.
actually be husband. So that program was like another piece of it. And it is faith based. So it was like redirecting me back to the word. I'm like, this is what God says, right?
Yeah.
And like they're commandments, they're not suggestions.
Right.
It's like
Right.
part of that too is like when I die, he's gonna look at me and say, "Hey, George, what'd you do with that wife and daughter I trusted you with?" He's not gonna go to them and say, "How did you treat," you know what I mean? Like it's on me.
It's on you.
Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to answer for that.
Yeah, man.
That was eye opening. And then again, it put things into perspective of as a husband, oftentimes you're gonna have to commit to things that will make people upset temporarily for the good of the family, right? Like
Mhm.
sometimes you're gonna have to make your wife a little bit upset. You're gonna have to tell her no.
Yeah.
And I was so codependent and walking on eggshells all the time. I couldn't do that, which is insane. I like laughed at myself going through that as I gained awareness. Was like I've led men in combat. I'm a pretty hard charging, like don't take crap from anyone type of
Yeah.
officer.
Yeah.
And then I was like deferring to my tiny little wife, and like afraid to like lead at anything, and
Right.
that's the conditioning of the
Mhm.
modern age and it's destructive to men and women. And so um, that program really helped me refresh how a husband and wife should really interact. And when you treat that in good faith, you both are then allowed to amplify what you're naturally gifted in. And the way that those things interact together is truly life changing. I mean, it is peak experience.